Here in the coastal city of General Santos, a bitter civil lawsuit was unfolding over the rightful ownership of a valuable parcel of land. This diagram illustrates a legal tool called an adverse claim. Think of it as a giant, unavoidable warning sign attached directly to a property's title. It tells the public that the land is currently under active litigation. Petra Sismaet, one of the plaintiffs fighting for the land, legally registered an adverse claim on the property's title to secure her interests during the trial. An adverse claim acts as a vital protective shield. It ensures that while the true ownership is being debated in court, the land cannot be secretly sold off or mortgaged to an unsuspecting third party. Enter attorney Asteria Cruzabra, the local Registrar of Deeds. A year after Sismaet secured the title, the opposing party submitted an affidavit to cancel the claim. Cruzabra signed it. With a single signature, Sismaet's legal shield evaporated. The disputed property was exposed, and immediately a new mortgage was attached to the title. Sismaet was furious. Her protective measure had been destroyed while the trial was still ongoing. Bypassing local complaints, she took the matter straight to the Supreme Court, filing a disbarment case against Cruzabra. Cruzabra's initial defense was straightforward. She argued she was merely a bureaucrat following standard operating procedure. As the Registrar of Deeds, processing paperwork was simply her job. This sets up a profound conflict. Can a government official lose their license to practice law simply for executing routine administrative paperwork? Cruzabra built her defense on a literal reading of Section 70 of the Property Registration Decree. The text explicitly states that an adverse claim is only effective for 30 days from the date of registration. Because Sismaet's claim had been on the books for over a year, Cruzabra argued her duty to cancel it was ministerial. The 30 days had expired, making the cancellation automatic and non-negotiable. Her logic held weight. Both the Integrated Bar of the Philippines and the Land Registration Authority investigated Sismaet's complaint. Both agencies entirely agreed with Cruzabra and recommended the case be dismissed. At this point, Cruzabra appeared completely vindicated. The literal text of the decree supported her, and her administrative superiors backed her actions. The Supreme Court, however, overruled the lower agencies and took over the investigation. They clarified a critical rule of jurisdiction. Holding a government desk job does not strip the Supreme Court of its authority to discipline a lawyer if their actions demonstrate moral delinquency or violate their legal oath. The court then systematically dismantled Cruzabra's bureaucratic defense. They ruled that an attorney is required to look beyond the literal text of a single decree and apply settled jurisprudence. This timeline illustrates a legal standard established by the court back in 1958. It dictates that an adverse claim never automatically expires on its own. Only a formal court order, issued after a judicial hearing, has the power to remove it from a property title. The court looked to a critical detail in the case files. Cruzabra was a named defendant in Sismaet's ongoing lawsuit. She had direct personal knowledge that the property ownership remained an active legal dispute. In unilaterally canceling the claim, Cruzabra effectively bypassed the judiciary. She took over a power reserved for a judge, a move the court ruled was a direct violation of her lawyer's oath. The Supreme Court defined her actions as gross ignorance of the law, a blatant, unjustifiable disregard for clear and established case law. The verdict was severe. The court formally suspended attorney Cruzabra from the practice of law for 6 months. In determining this penalty, the court factored in her previous disciplinary record, noting she had already served a prior suspension for simple neglect of duty. This ruling establishes a strict boundary for all attorneys working in administrative or bureaucratic roles. A government title and a ministerial checklist cannot shield an attorney from their ethical obligations to the justice system. For an officer of the court, ignorance of established precedent is never an excuse.